Welcome to the True Colours podcast, where we share our views on life, relationships, and culture, exploring big questions and providing simple answers to them, with your hosts, Jay Clare and Sally Olver. Welcome to True Colours podcast, Season 2.
Season 2!
Who would have thought we got there? Season 2, Episode 1, Episode 17 overall. It is a new year. Happy New Year to you, Sally.
Happy New Year, brother. Happy New Year. How was your New Year?
It was good. We had a really good time. We went to my cousin's house, and he lives up in the hills. And it almost was like a pseudo kids party. All the kids were just playing together in the backyard, and we're just like, we'll eat and drink, and you guys play.
So
fun.
good. So our times have changed.
Yeah.
Now the next generation we are giving the bat on to the New Year's Eve bat on to the next generation. My New Year's Eve was really great. I went on youth camp with the kids.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, not my kids, but I'm a youth worker, and I went with the youth, and they are a very inspiring lot that fill me with confidence for the next generation, to be sure.
Fill you with confidence. Good to hear. So,
kids, man, good kids.
I've never asked you, but the youth that you work with, they're not like troubled youth. They're just youth, they are.
Both.
Troubled, inspired youth. Interesting. That would be interesting.
Well, I was a trouble-inspired youth. Look at me now, podcasting. I mean, God.
5,000 views on YouTube.
There you go.
You're like semi-famous. You're semi-famous now.
Where there's a will, there's a way.
There is a way. What are we talking about today?
So, Happy New Year. That's the first thing I want to say to you, mate. May you be blessed and your family be blessed abundantly in 2020.
For the next decade.
The next decade.
The sixth decade of our life, apparently. Sixth decade we've lived in our lives.
Just stop talking.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, okay. So today, I don't know. I think we, given season 1, given the fruits of season 1, I think we just seem to really love to riff about relationships. I think you and I really like to talk about the dynamics and the constructs of relationships and how they work, and if they're working, if not, why. We love that kind of stuff. So to kick off this year, Jay and I came up with a great topic, and the topic is, how do you know it's time to break up with a friend?
How do you know? It's a hard topic.
It's a great topic. I love this topic.
How do you know?
How do you know?
Let me. Is there any additions to that, or we just focusing on that?
Oh no, there are others. Like, I mean, there are offshoots of that question, but. When do you know it's time, dude? When do you know? What?
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Have you ever broken up with a friend?
Yes, I have.
Okay, well, let's start by talking about that. What was the situation, and how did it get there, and why did you break up?
So I'll go really, really quick. So the situation was that Matt and I were getting married. As you know, you drove me to my wedding. That's how tight you and I are. Getting married to my husband, invited one of my friends who I'd known for a very, very long time and her daughter. And there were no kids invited to this party. Her daughter was like the one and only child that was invited to this party. Wedding.
She got basically Willy Wonka's ticket.
She got Willy Wonka's ticket to the Ulva extravaganza at Emberley Woods or wherever we got married. So now this friend of mine, let's call her Mel. All right, we'll just call her Mel.
Oh, I love a pseudonym.
So she had not recently, but not long before, separated from her partner. And then she was, if I was 28 when we got married, that would have made her 33 at the time. So she was divorced. She was in a separation. And then she found herself in a relationship with a person that was maybe about 16 years younger than herself, and a female.
A 17-year-old
female with a 33-year-old woman. Now, no judgment. I don't know what's going on there, but
the fact that the person's underage is kind of dubious.
Well, you know what? Not my jurisdiction. That's on her. But
technically, by law, that's not actually. If that was a dude and a chick, anyway,
look, that's a whole other discussion. But
yes,
Mel pretty much demanded that the golden ticket went to her now young female lover as opposed to the kid.
Yeah, this is starting to come back to me now.
Can you remember?
Yes.
And my parents are like, nah. Remember?
Is that because she was like she's fresh, yeah? She's a fresh. What was it?
Remember, Mum was like, I'm not going to look at that with my eyes. And look, this Mel is not well. Mel, unwell.
Unwell Mel.
Unwell.
Yeah.
So.
Unwell. From a physical standpoint?
No. Just messed up for a lot of reasons. That's actually really sad. But I think my mum's concern was that unwell Mel was going to steal the show, and my parents were like, look, we are saying for her and her daughter to come to the wedding. You don't then turn around and go, oh, can I bring someone else?
Yeah, it's not a gift voucher.
It's not like where you can go, oh, do I go to Coles or do I go to Myer? Or do I put petrol in? I'll think about it. No, it's not that. So she gave me this very lame excuse that she was not able to come to the wedding now because unwell Mel gave young girl a hard time for not inviting her to something, and which was just a made up, fabricated excuse to say if I can't bring my girlfriend, then I'm not coming, and I'm really sorry, but blah blah blah. So anyway, I wrote her a letter, which is probably a massive cop out because, as you know, I've got massive issues with confrontation, but I wrote her a massive letter, and I was just like, dude, like I've been friends with her. So I was 28 when I was getting married, and I'd known her since I was 11. So that's like 17 years, right? And I'm just like, you know what, unwell Mel, you got to go.
But I'm going to ask you like another question. So that's basically the reason why it ended, yeah?
No. Well.
Okay.
No, it's not the reason. So there was a lot of other stuff, like my husband is such a cruisy dude. He's just doesn't have an issue with anyone. And if he was just like, I don't like her. I don't like her. I don't like the way that you speak to her, you know, whatever. The way that she speaks to you, and she's very manipulative and whatever. And, you know, like sometimes it takes someone else to step in, someone fresh to step in to go, why? Because the dynamic when you okay, so I met her when I was 11. She would have been 16, 17. She was my dancing teacher, right? And so there was this sort of like dynamic, right? There was this dynamic where you're the older one and I kind of fall into line and do everything you say. So that teacher-student dynamic, once we became friends, didn't break. But
But she
unless
was
you've
kind
got
of someone you looked up to as
Yeah,
well. Then.
yeah. Yeah, but then the older you get, that age gap reduces. Because by the time you're like 25 and she's 30 or whatever, like the age gap's not as apparent as it is when you're 11 and 16, you know. Anyway, so yeah, so I mean, there was a lead up. I mean, she did a lot of things that were really uncool, and I just sort of, you know, didn't rock the boat and whatever. So I think me just going, look, we're done, was a culmination of a whole lot of other stuff that had happened before, and I probably just got the courage to do it.
So you wrote a letter to break up with her?
Yeah. Yeah.
A breakup letter. That's interesting.
Yeah.
See, today you probably would have just sent her a dirty text message.
Oh, today I'd just ghost. Because, like...
Yeah. No, not going to talk to that person again.
Isn't that what you do?
Yeah,
just,
etiquette has totally changed in the last 10
Oh, well, I'll ask you the question. Have you ever had to break up with a friend?
Yes, I have. I have broken up with friends before. They've probably broken up with me, ghosted me as well. As you know, I'm a very
upfront, candid.
Yes, and lots of people can
straight shooter.
It's probably say things I don't need to say because I just do.
Well, and is it though, or are you just more comfortable with laying it all out there? Because crucial conversations have to happen, and this is what I've learned as I'm getting older, and you know the different people that I'm working with and whatever. Like peace. This is something really, really interesting that I've learned recently. Is peacemaking isn't about saying nothing, because if two people have a contention and I'm not saying anything and that person's not saying anything, well, no one's at peace. It's just silent. There's a difference between silence and peace. That's like that violent silence, right? So you don't want that. So you do have to talk about, you know, certain things, and when you've got different perspectives on things, or you've got one or both that are just unwilling to see it from the other person's point of view, it's not going to work.
Well, it's interesting that you go back to my example, and probably the main one, which I would actually say that I'm, after reflection, a little bit sad, actually, the way it ended.
Yeah.
Was one of the friends who I was in a band with, and we were like
bros.
Bros. You know, I really enjoyed his company.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
And then over time, I think, you know, we didn't really see each other as much, and there was a certain political event happening in the sphere of Australia, and I was also friends with his sister on Facebook, which is always a little bit awkward when you start having conversations with friends, siblings. And so basically I had a disagreement with them, and I felt pretty strong in the way that I felt, because I thought people were putting someone on a pedestal that didn't deserve the pedestal. Like it was just hypocrisy at its greatest level, and it was just ridiculous. But then I say, in hindsight, is someone's silly hypocrisy worth losing a friendship over? And you know, I stuck by my guns, and they said some things which I thought was like extremely cowardice and weak. And I just told them to basically F off. I don't want to talk to you again, because until you can grow a pair and actually confront me about it, and actually legitimately take, for example, the opinion that the statement that I was making as a valid comment, that's fine. I get that some people have difference of opinion, but just to dismiss it is silly, and to say that I have a lack of empathy, and I'm like, what's got
Yeah,
nothing to do
no,
with empathy? This
no.
is not the discussion. So basically ended it there. And over New Year's, I was kind of like considering whether or not I should just reach out and go,
Yeah.
look, I'm sorry that's the way it ended, but it's not necessarily that I want to be a friend again, but I just want to say that I'm sorry that it ended that way. And
I'd
I'm
say
still
do
thinking
it.
about it actually. Yeah, I think I will.
I'd do it. Because, that's what we're talking about, the peacemakers. The peacemakers are those that are going to go back in there and go, well, actually, I don't know about you, man, but I'm not really cool about how things ended. You could be, and then it is then in the other person's court, isn't it? The ball is in that other person's court. So if that doesn't continue or it looks different, then that's just how it is, really.
Yeah, and the thing is, I'm not necessarily putting it out there because I want to feel better about myself. I'm just saying I've recognised that something has happened, and ultimately, as I am a person of truth and honesty, I think it's worthwhile bracing the subject and being honest about what happened. Like I still believe in what I said, and I still believe that, but it didn't have to get
to that level. And I am I right in assuming that perhaps that was accelerated because that whole beef happened on social media? Do you think there was an added dimension to that whole discussion because of the platform? Like, would it have got to that if you were both in a room together? I'm saying, did the fanfare of all of that have anything to do with the?
I probably would have said what I still said, but I don't think I would have got the reaction in person that I did get.
That's what I'm saying.
Without that confrontational face-to-face situation, people, I guess, feel at a lot more liberty. And I even find it now, like in a workplace where
100%.
you kind of talk to people, like especially like with clients, I'm talking to them, I'm like, oh yeah, they're really easygoing. But then when you're like on email, like, is this person being short? And like I can't.
I'm the word. Like I am not good at the whole. Yeah, I have to just really bring so much mindfulness to text messages, emails, social media comments, whatever, and just say, like, I'm such a novel person. Like I'm like I write for days, and remember that not everybody does that, and that's not an indication of how they feel about me or how they value me, or it's interesting. It's interesting. So when do you know, like, okay, if you're thinking about breaking up with a friend, right? So when do you know it's time? Like, this is going to happen?
You just know. I think you know in your gut, because you get that feeling, when you are going to either catch up with them or talk to them or something like that.
There's nothing.
You have that horrid feeling of, oh, I don't really want to see this person, or
I don't want to see this person, or I've actually got nothing to say. Like, we are in such different, and it's not about being in different worlds, because you can be in completely different worlds and still connect. There is obviously somewhere along the way, there's a disconnect that's happened. So my question is, if that disconnect has happened, do you bring it to the fore? Okay, this is why I'm asking the question, right? Because if you're in a romantic relationship and there's a disconnect, right?
Yes.
You work on it, blah, blah, blah. When it's time to hit the bricks, it's time to hit the bricks. And someone's going to call it, if not both, are going to call it and go, you know what? It's not working. We've got to go our separate ways. Right?
Tried,
yeah. So I'm really interested, if that happens in a romantic relationship, why is that same dynamic not as accepted in a friendship? Why is it weird?
I think it's just a social.
It's not you,
nicety.
it's me. It's like, let's just ghost each other and leave it at that.
You know what I think has a lot to do with it is the fact that with most friends, they come in a package.
Right.
So if your friends are connected to other friends,
Oh.
you know what I'm saying? So it's like you don't want to be that person who ends up like having to be. So we're going to dinner tonight. Oh, did you hear Sally and Mel broke up? So which one are we going to invite?
Package deal.
So,
Package deal.
but if it's the one-on-one,
Yes.
but
No,
if
it's
it's the
good.
one-on-one, I think if it's the one-on-one friend, well, if
Well,
there's nothing.
What if it's the one-on-one friend?
Well, this has happened to us recently, right? And I've spoken about this before.
Oh, yes,
Talked
yes,
about
yes, yes.
parenting and stuff. So, we were really close friends with these people, and then we weren't, and there was no other connections there, so it was fine. It was like a mutual ghosting,
Just
bizarrely.
a mutual fizzle.
Yeah, mutual fizzle. So we just it just ended, and I don't think either party are like reasonably at all upset that the thing is ended, because I don't think we got any value from the friendship.
Right. So what about in a situation whereby, say for me, right?
Yeah.
I've moved over here, so there's a nullarbor between us now and a lot of friends that I've had for many, many years.
Yes.
And so obviously the frequency is much, the frequency that I speak to people, talk to people, whatever, connect in, is much less.
Yeah.
So if that becomes less and less and less with certain people, do we go into fizzle territory, or do I say, you know what, they've been friends for a long time, I'll follow them? Like, what's the protocol? Interested.
Are you saying you want to fizzle and make them leave your life, or what are you saying?
Well, I'm just like, what I'm asking you is, if there's nothing really holding you there.
Like, if you don't feel I want to continue a relationship because of the distance, then that's probably a sign. But there's people who, that you're friends with, and there's distance.
Oh, not because of the not because of the distance, because of the disconnect. There's a difference.
Well, that's probably a multiplier effect on the disconnect, is the distance, right? So you've already got.
I don't feel that it's affected you and I.
No. What I'm saying is, if you're already feeling a disconnect someone, and then you add the distance.
Right. It's
like, it's like adding fuel on the fire. So it's like, I don't really. So, and the example is, we're still really good mates.
Yeah.
I saw my mate Nick, who lives in Brisbane.
Yeah.
Has been there for a few years now, and I hardly talk to him now. We probably catch up every half year, but I love the guy a bit. So every time I have an opportunity to try and catch up with him, I'll try and make that happen. So we caught up this year. Christmas. It was so good to see the guy, and it was like, man, and we sat there and spoke for like 6 hours.
Yeah.
And at the end of the night, I'm like, oh, you got to go now. I feel like I keep on for another 6 hours.
Yeah.
There's just so much that has happened in life. You're trying to understand. You're talking about what's happened. You're talking about the future. You're understanding the plans. It's just that's I think those kind of relationships are special, and that's why distance doesn't really break that connection. You have a connection for a certain reason. Like I'm connected to Nick because we're in a band together, but the band isn't our connection. It's our connection as people. That's the same as me and you. Our connection was because we worked together and went to uni together, but that's not our commonality. It's just like I said, we technically don't even really have much in common in interests
at all.
but we just get along. So there's no way of understanding that secret connection formula. It's just a thing. And I think you've either got it or you don't. And I think you can ultimately tell, pretty early on, whether or not you're like, when you get into a friendship, you're like, oh man, I don't know if I really want to be in this friendship, like really early on, but you don't really know what to do because they keep on contacting you and you're like,
Oh,
So-
Vicky. And that's
Yeah.
that's one really good thing about having kids, hey. Oh, Sam's sick. Sorry.
so These are kids really sick a lot. I'm like, yeah, school.
Yeah. All right. So okay. So that's really good because my question was, and I think we've covered it. So if you've decided,
Just pull the Band-Aid
what
off.
what am I doing? So the ghost or the confront?
Look, I think it depends on the situation.
Yeah. No, that's good. Yeah, it does depend on the situation.
Some people, like the recent example I gave out, a ghosting was fine there because, well, what are you going
Right.
to do?
Yeah.
We don't really have anything in common. Well, technically, they kind of ghosted us because they found out some news about us, and it's like, that's weird.
It's so weird.
But I'm also fine with that because I don't. That relation didn't really bother me. Like, it was just something to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas, if it was
Something to do.
something to do. Whereas, if you're friends with something, what would be a reason to, I don't know, you're just not feeling it. Like, and there's, what the weird part is, like, let me flip this on a script, right? Flip this on a script or flip the script. I think
Flip the
that's
script. Yeah.
Flip the script is, there are also those people, I mean, just think about this. That there's those people that you're friends with, but you don't see them much, but you want to see them,
Yeah.
but the effort is just too much at the same time. Do you know what I'm saying?
Oh yes, I've got a
So,
few
like,
of
there's
those.
like
I've got a
the people
few.
that I used-
Yeah.
The people I used to work with that I became really good friends with, and we're kind of friends at work, but you weren't kind of work friends outside of work. You kind of saw each other here and there. You kind of bit of a birthday party maybe here,
Yeah.
but
right.
you really enjoyed their company. But
Yeah,
then you
right.
realise there's actually effort attached to maintaining a friendship, and you can only, you've only got a certain amount of time. So it's not that you dislike that person. Your effort is not a measurement of your fondness of this person.
Right.
So it's just a selective choosing of how much time you're going to put into a certain.
I think that's a really interesting point that you raise, and I really do feel like if someone is a high priority, you will in some way let them know that. We are in an age where you have got countless platforms or ways to get in contact. You've got text message, you've got WhatsApp, you've got Facebook, you've got Instagram, you've got just a normal phone call, you've got, like, there are so many ways that you can just go, dude, haven't seen you in ages, but thinking of you, hope you're well, something, right? Something.
I have to admit, this is something I do quite often, right?
Yeah.
Where, like, every few months or so, I'll be like, there's a whole bunch of people I haven't spoken to in a long time.
Right.
I'm just going to do the touch base message.
Touch base is great.
Hey, haven't seen you in a while. I hope you guys are well. I hope the family's well. Let's catch up soon, but we never catch up.
Well, okay, you know what I'll give you there? I admire your intent. I admire your intent. That you're actually thinking about the person and you've actually taken action. You've done something. You're not just like, I'm thinking about that person, whatever. You actually, you're telling that person you're thinking about them, and you do have the intent, whether or not it transpires. It's
a great example of that. He's not even someone who I reach out to on a basis, but I really like this guy. I used to be in a band with him, different band to my main band. It was this one that I was in for like 6 months, and it just kind of blew apart because I didn't really enjoy the creative direction and in fact, some of the band members were wanting to censor my lyrics because they thought it was it was bizarre. Anyway, one of the guys in the band, it was a bizarre situation. Anyway, this guy, he's like still very much in the music scene, and I bump into him all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey man, how are you? And he's like, yeah, good. And he's like, we always do that thing where it's like, we should catch up soon. Like it happens all the time.
Yeah.
So I bumped into him when I started my new job. He gets tattoos at the tattoo place around the corner from my work. I'm like, man, how are you doing? Haven't seen you in ages. It's like, good. And we just ended up talking for half an hour on the street.
Right.
And he did the, let's catch up soon. And then it was his birthday on Facebook the other day. I'm like, I like this guy. Like, I rarely do the happy birthday on Facebook. But I saw it and I'm like, thank you, Facebook, for reminding me. I rarely go on Facebook now. But this randomly came up. I'm like, happy birthday.
Yep.
And you know what he said on the response?
Let's catch up.
And I'm like, I said, we keep saying that to each other. I think we really should actually catch up.
Yeah.
Because I really like his company. But then I'm like, what a bad time to say that because I'm basically being in lockdown for the next 4 months. So yeah.
You can make it happen, like I think you just lower the expectations, go easy, go for it, just go for a beer, make it easy.
Yeah, it's a cheeky frothy.
It's a cheeky frothy. You want a mate? Nice mandate. There's nothing wrong with that.
Next time you're getting a tattoo, let's go get a burger.
Let's get a burger and a beer.
Yeah. So yeah.
So yeah, that's really interesting. So I think to surmise, well, what I'm getting from this is I think you hit the nail on the head. I think it's dependent on the situation. I think there are some times where someone has to go because they're just being a tool. And then there are other times. Yeah, right. And then there are other times where you're like, there's a disconnect, but should we really forfeit our whole friendship based on a disconnect? Because you don't know what's going to happen in the future. You don't know if you could reconnect. And that I've had situations before where I've stopped being friends with people and I have reconnected, and it's been great. The reconnect can actually fortify the season 2 of your relationship. Yeah, I
Can you give me an example of like a reconnection?
I won't. But
is it because the person doesn't realize it was a reconnect?
No, I think the person realized it was a reconnect. I think we both did, and we both value each other more than ever.
We're not talking about each other here, are we?
When
we disconnect.
No, we've never disconnected. No. But then you get situations
I think I know who you're talking about.
Right. So then you get situations like me and Nigel, who are, tight as, and we are so naughty. Like we take each other for granted. Like, because if he ever rings me or if I ever ring him, guaranteed it's like a 3-hour call. Unless someone's got something to do, we go on, and we always have. We just talk and talk and talk and talk. I don't even know what to tell you what to talk about. And then, so he rang yesterday to tell me some news, and like we both went, oh my gosh, dude, I'm so sorry I haven't called you. He's like, I'm sorry. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. You can get into a rut where you just don't call, the other person doesn't call, and you're almost taking your friendship for granted because you know what, that dude loves me, I love that dude, we'll catch up next week, and you don't.
Yeah. I hope Nigel watches this, but I actually did this thing where I was like, I probably should talk to him about it, but I was like, I feel like I'm the one who's always calling Nigel.
Yeah. Nigel.
So
yeah.
So I decided I'm not going to call Nigel.
Yeah.
I literally decided. It's not that I don't want to be his friend. I'm just not going to call him. No. And then randomly he called me. I was like, See, it works sometimes.
Yes. And wasn't that fruitful?
Yes, it was.
Yes, it was. Go Nige. We love Nige.
All right, cool.
So yeah, I think that is like, at the risk of being a little bit on the fancy, it is dependent on the situation.
Yeah.
It really
100%.
is.
Like, I don't think there's any black and white line where you're like, I no longer want to be friends with you. Or
I think there are some black and white ones. If there's any kind of abuse on any level, then yeah, they've got to go. Abuse of power, verbal abuse, emotional abuse, psychological abuse, which happens in friendships, then that person's got to go, and that's pretty black and white.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I take that back. There's black and white.
There's a line.
There's black and white,
sure.
and there's also grey areas as well.
Damn, I can't deal with grey areas. We'll talk about that another day. Sally's.
Yeah, I hate fence sitting.
Right, grey is not. But in this particular situation, when you're talking about relationships are at all different levels.
Mm.
You know.
Would you no, don't worry about it. So are we ending that now? Are we done on the friend?
Yeah, I think we're done. So you know what? If you want to break up your friend, we support you, and we're with you. Break up.
I think we should start a movement. # friend breakup. Do it now.
Yeah.
Is there someone that you're like, I don't really want to be friends with this person anymore?
Yes. There is.
Just send out. What do you think? What do you think's a right thing to put in a message? I think message is okay.
Say, hey, we're done. Love you.
It's not me, it's you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think there's any easy ways. Like, I don't think there's any point. I think today's angle is the ghosting. I think that's what happens. You kind of just like, oh yeah, I'm not hearing from you. You're not hearing from me. If you don't hear from each other, clearly you're both okay with that.
You both. Yes. That's the gauge.
Yeah.
100%.
There are a couple of things I want to talk to you about on the back of this before we tie things up. I think we've got a few more minutes to go through. The first one was
going in a different direction.
Shout out to my, this is something we haven't talked about, but I just want to talk to you about it. But on New Year's Eve, my beautiful cousin and his wife decided for dinner at one stage of it that they were going to pull out marinated pineapple and barbecue it. And I was like, you're lucky I like you a lot. Otherwise, we would have been done.
He would have # friend breakup.
Hot pineapple. Hashtag hot pineapple. # never. # we're breaking up. But I love them so much.
Did I tell you there was a line? There's always a line.
There's always a line. So there was a thing that we discussed, back onto things we have discussed, is we did have a decade that just ended. We are both very big movie fans. Haven't watched. You didn't watch many movies apparently in the last.
I didn't watch. I have got a lot of catching up to do, but I did. There is one that I wanted to make mention of.
Okay, so I decided I would put together like a top 10. They're not really in any order, but these are like 10 movies. I found it just too hard to do, to rank movies. I had about 30, and then I cut it down, and I was like, yeah, I think this is a good 10.
Yeah. Before you do, can I just do my one?
What's your one?
Well, I know there are others, but I have got major mental block, and I just didn't have the chance to research. And to be honest with you, there isn't something that came screaming to mind about the last decade. I'm sure there are ones that are like, oh yeah, that was an awesome movie. So apologies to the movies that I've forgotten. But I would say I would say, and I don't think that's got anything to do with how good the movie is. I think that's got more to do with my memory capacity, which is scrambled eggs since I've had kids. But the one movie that I really wanted to just really go, that was good. That was really good. Was A Star Is Born with
Oh, it's on the list.
yeah, Gaga and Cooper. That was
It really.
that was magnificent.
I was
That
on the back of that. Like, I was like not expecting like anything. I was like, oh yeah, this sounds like a cool movie. Heard some good things. But it actually was one of the only movies I've ever watched that really hit me in the feels. Like
It was, well, imagine what I was like then. Oh my
yeah,
goodness.
I know. Like
I was on the
you would have
plane.
been ugly crying on the plane.
Oh, I was on the plane back from Melbourne, heading to Perth. Thought,
Ugly crying.
throw on a bit of Gaga. Massive Gaga fan. Sure.
Bad choice for the movie.
This will be great. Oh, that was a phenomenal movie. They did exceptionally well. Exceptionally well.
Great. It was a very, very good movie. I haven't
that
watched
would
it
be
since
mine.
the first time. I think I might wait a few years again to watch it.
Yes.
For that.
Oh my goodness, I'm the same. That's exactly how I feel because it's on Netflix at the moment, and every time I see it come up, I'm like, I really want, like, I don't want kids running in. I just want to sit and just absorb.
You don't know what this feeling is like. Well, I don't think you do, but it's like, you know, when you smoke weed all the time and like that same buzz, it's not there.
Right.
You want to not smoke for a long time.
Yeah.
And then smoking, like, oh, there it is again. I want to wait for that gap to get that feeling again.
I respect that. And that's, yeah. Because and I have full faith we will get that feeling because that movie.
It's like I was like, I'm going to start watching Christmas movies at Christmas time.
Can you just stop and just wait and just say that any movie that has an actor wet their pants on stage and you're still like, man, that was one of the best movies I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Is a pretty great movie.
Because I can give you an example of overdoing it, and now I don't really ever want to watch it again, and it's such a good movie, and I think I've watched it too many times, and it's like, oh, I don't think I'll ever get that feeling until I'm 65.
Okay.
And that was The Wedding Singer. I absolutely love that movie, but I watched it too many times, I think, and now I'm just like, if I watched it again, I'd be like, yeah, it's just The Wedding Singer.
No, I believe in you, man. Just give it a bit of time. Go back. You'll be right. You'll get it back. It's The Wedding.
So let me go to my 10 movies, and there's a bit of a theme on these, as you'll be able to tell. Like, I'm into a certain style of movie. I'm going to start at the top. Mad Max Fury Road.
Okay.
That was epic. It was such a good.
I'm going to write these down.
There was absolutely no point to the movie, but it's probably the best chasing. It was like the movie was just like a chase for like an hour and a half, and it was like so good.
What, car chasing?
Just like, yeah, it was, you know what Mad Max is about, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was kind of that. But it was just the visuals, just watching on the big screen was just like, whoa, this is crazy. It was just so good.
Oh, I have got another movie. Yep, okay, sorry. Yep, okay.
I'll go through mine.
Yep.
The next one is Lady Bird. That came out a couple of years ago. I just thought it was really well done. Like, it was very basic, but it was very different. And I don't know, this is something about the movie that I really enjoyed, especially that there was a female lead coming of age movie. It's not very common. There's a couple more that have come out recently. Like, I watched that Booksmart. I thought that was really good. That was a bit of a coming of age movie. But most coming of age movies have been dudes. So it was really good to see a female perspective, and it done really well.
Awesome.
The next one is right at the start of the decade, Inception.
Oh, was that the start of the decade?
Yeah, 2010.
Oh, that movie.
The next one was probably the most recent one on the list is The Joker.
I haven't seen that.
Oh, it was so good. Like, mixed reviews, but like, I thought it was amazing. Like, it's rated really well online, but
I haven't seen it.
It was just done so well. Star Is Born. We've already spoken about that. That's on there. Next one is Super 8. I love that movie.
Yeah.
Do you know Super 8?
I haven't seen any of these movies.
It's like watching The Goonies again, but like
really?
extraterrestrial style. It was just really good. I really enjoyed it. Another Leo's made. I just realized that he's made 2 appearances in this list. The Wolf of Wall Street, classic.
Yeah.
The Hunt for the Wilder People.
Yeah.
Taika Waititi, I believe, is this a New Zealander? He hasn't made a bad movie yet. He made this other movie called Boy, What We Do.
Oh yes, that movie was amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the 8th movie is Attack the Block.
Mm-hmm.
That was a movie that came out a while ago. It had that guy from Star Wars in there, Boyega, the black dude. He was the main character in there when he was much younger. And then speaking of Star Wars Force Awakens, that was such a great return to the Star Wars franchise. Yeah, I haven't watched the latest one, funnily enough. Just haven't had the time to do it yet.
Yeah.
And the last one was another fairly recent one called Get Out. If you haven't watched that, it's like a psychological thriller. Really, by what's the guy who directed it? Can't remember.
I love psychological thrillers. They're good. Yeah.
So that was my 10. It was really hard to do. There's lots of good movies, but
I've seen one of those. No, 2. I've only seen 2 of those movies.
I like adventure movies, if you can't tell.
Yep.
That's my number 1 genre of movie.
Yeah. Is it?
So yeah, 100%.
Okay.
I could watch Indiana Jones.
So you can't overwatch Indiana Jones?
No, never. Except for that last one that they did. That was a piece of trash.
Yeah, that wasn't great. That's a good list, man. I know 2 movies. No. I don't have time to go to the movies. So, yeah. No, that's good. That's really, really good. That's awesome. So, you had another contention. The tourism.
Oh, so there's something that I wanted to watch with you. So we'll end the show with this discussion. So we will also do an episode. Hopefully we can do this next week. We're coming into a politically fierce time in Australia. The end of January is the day that we all know as Australia Day. And I think right now Australia Day is going to take on a new meaning, especially with all the stuff that's going on with the bushfires and whatnot. I think it ultimately is going to become a time to come together as a country.
Better be.
Look, I couldn't imagine anything better than a massive fundraising appeal on Australia Day.
Yeah.
For all the people who've been affected. See, that's an example of things that could go well. Anyway, we'll talk about that a bit more on a different episode, Australia Day and things revolving around that. But recently there was also an ad that came out from Tourism Australia. We do these once in a while. You remember there was the Laura Bingle.
Yeah.
Where the bloody hell are you? And that was like, oh yeah, what's going on there? And that caused a whole bunch of riffraff. But there's been a recent one come out again, and it's had some criticism about it being not enough diversity in it. Okay. And typically the people who say this as being too non-white Australians is typically white people who come in and complain about this stuff. And I'm like, just shut up.
Right.
So I want you to witness this ad and
okay.
Let's have a bit of a chat. It goes for a while, actually. It's like 3 minutes.
Let's do it. Let me just pull up Watch Together.
And also
join the room.
Which is one of your favourite girls too, Kylie.
Yes. So I've got to put bias aside right now, don't I?
And randomly, I took I took Lucy. Oh, Annie was there as well. We went to the pool around the corner, and as we were exiting, Jason Donovan was walking in.
Oh, JD!
I didn't realise it was him. I think I know that guy from somewhere.
My goodness.
And then as I walked past him, it clicked. I was like, oh, that was Jason Donovan. Anyway, No one
Alright.
knows who James Donovan is. So are you ready to watch this? This is officially called Mate Song Tourism Australia ad.
All right, let's do it.
Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
And we're live in 3, 2, 1.
This year's been tough and confusing, but progress is moving.
Well, a glacial pace. Sorry.
But all of Australia loves you, and we'll never judge you.
You just need some space.
When you need an end to what ails you,
Call on your friends in Australia.
a pal to rely on.
A shoulder to cry on.
In Australia.
We can turn off the news. You can kick off your shoes. We'll play backyard cricket.
Get ready to lose!
So throw in the towel. You can use one of ours. We speak your language.
Except for the vowels.
Yes, we know you love your fish and chips and your curries.
But hey, that's no worries.
Good crops guaranteed.
Negotiating tricky trade deals is a shocker.
But look, there's a quokka, and that's what you need. A quokka is really what you need. Glorious United Kingdom. Lean on your wingmen and women. We'll clear your head.
And sausage and bread.
We'll go to the beach.
Then tuck you in bed.
Don't bite your nails to the cuticles. And with impressive marsupials. Helping the mates is a national trait in Australia. Yes! When everything's a test, call your besties across the ocean. Sisters and brothers,
We know you think you're above us.
but deep down you love us.
You just repress emotion.
But we'll put you right.
Have another flat white.
Go grab your cozies.
Your cozies, your Aussies tonight. Calling all pumps, keep calm, carry on in Australia.
Hang on, wait. I gotta get back. Where are you? Hang on. Oh, there you are.
So see you soon then, yeah?
It's a tourism ad for Australia that's being aired in UK. So they're just showing what Australia is like, and they made a song called the Mate Song. So I didn't find it cringy either. I just thought, oh, it was actually not too bad.
I'm just gonna get out of this because I can't find you. Hang on.
You can hear me, but you can't see me.
Yes.
No evil here.
Yeah, there you are. Yeah.
So I thought it was actually not too badly done. I've seen a lot worse tourism
Oh,
videos.
absolutely.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
One thing I would say, and geez, Kylie's still got it. She's banging.
Yeah.
How old is she?
50 plus. Yeah.
Go Kylie.
Yeah. She's.
Yep, she is. Yes, I concur. But I also thought there was enough diversity in there. There was brown people, there was Asian people. Like, how much? It's predominantly white. Like, what do you want in there?
I don't understand that argument. Like, I saw plenty of diversity in there. And the other thing is, you don't want it to be so diverse that it's token.
Yeah, that's what the world has become. Like, they want this tokenistic showing that we're diverse. Well, just be what you are. Don't be something you're not.
I didn't feel that from that clip.
Did you feel that you weren't represented in that tourism ad, Sally?
Not at all, and that's because I don't have a nationality complex, Jason.
You're just happy to be in this great country, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, me too.
Like, I think that Kylie Minogue is a very qualified and credible candidate for that clip.
Yeah, it's almost like especially for the UK, she's almost the perfect person to be representing Australia. Like, it's like, yeah, I'm Australian. You people in UK, you love me. This is my country. Come and visit.
So what's the problem?
That's a good question.
That's why I'm like, I don't understand. Like, I'm confused because I don't see what's wrong with that.
Yeah, me neither. But I will do an interesting look up. Here we go. What's the best way of doing anything is to look up YouTube comments. So I'm just going to have a look at the top comments.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, okay, that's fair word. So Marty McFlew has written Australia literally on fire. Also, Australians, come to Australia. Bit insensitive.
I don't know what. Okay. So yeah.
This is pretty well done, but the real tourism theme right now, I can't see shit, and all this smoke. I'm on fire. Yeah. The last 5 koalas survived the fire. Seen the oh my god, why are people? I think they hired the people from Coles down prices of the down ads. Are you serious? You're an idiot, Mike. Those down ads are terrible. That was fine.
I don't see what was wrong with that.
Yeah, no. When the government needs more volunteer firefighters. Okay, so it's getting quite political. So people are just, yes, we get that Australia's on fire, but that's got nothing to do with this ad. Sloth Gaming wrote, I don't think any of this is true. What part? This is a fair comment from Luca. Not a single swear word. Nothing like Australia. It's an ad.
Luca!
Need to get on telly. They really picked the best time to bring this out. They released the ad. Australia's got bushfires. There's not much they can do about that.
No.
Sorry, I didn't see bunnies in the video clip. Fair call.
And, like, just so people know, they didn't whip this up last week and then release it in the UK. This is like months worth of production, okay? It's not like they're like, oh, quick, where's Kylie? Where is Kylie? Let's just put something together and then just, come on. Come on, people.
And here's this great, one of the worst parts of Australia, I would say, of Australian culture is tall poppy syndrome. I really despise it. People who are doing well. So here's an example. Does Kylie even live in Australia? Does she know what's going on outside of her bubble? Shut up, Diva.
Oh, that's...
Diva 7, you're an idiot.
That's so harsh. It's her home. That's like, you know what? That's like people saying to me, like, I've got no business knowing or caring about what's happening in Melbourne.
Yeah.
It's always going to be my home.
This one is insensitive, but also very funny. Australia is really lit at the moment.
Moving on.
Oh, come on, mate. I don't know if this is a parody or 100% serious. It's in between. It's a bit of jest.
Parody, and that's Kylie. Like, she's always embraced, because she got so much flack in the start for being so camp and being so, whatever. So that's a real element of her whole brand.
I'm down with Bev here, who said, captured the Aussie feel. Well done. Good on you, Bev.
On you, Bev.
Bev, and that's such an Australian lady's name, Bev.
Bev. You know, a bit of positivity. Good on you, Bev. All right, then. That's really great.
Yeah, go Australia. We are
Go
burning.
Australia.
And while we're at it, I am like really like this whole fire situation in Australia is like just full on intense. So I just can't get my head around it. So I hope we get some rain soon to stop these horrible things happening, and then we can get to figuring out how we can, you know, probably help prevent. Oh, well, we can't prevent idiots from lighting fires. And those people should be.
I can't even talk about that.
Those people need to get sent to jail. Like if castration was a thing, I'd chop it off. Like that's what you deserve.
What do you mean these people need to get sent to jail? Absolutely 100%. Like life sentence.
I saw some bizarre stat, like the last 80 like people who got committed for arson, like of such type, didn't even get jail time. I'm like, are you serious?
What are you talking about?
Like that's the thing. Like search crime statistics about arsonists, and it's just like, well, obviously people are going to light fires if you don't actually treat it like they're actually technically they're murderers. You know, like there are.
That's a whole nother episode. I can't even fathom why there would be any other ruling.
So,
but anyway, look, let's just end on a good note, like Bev. Let's do like Bev.
Bev.
Be like Bev.
Be like Bev.
Be like Bev.
Thought it was, in summary, I thought it was pretty good. I'm not going to complain about it.
I thought it was great.
I don't think I could do anything better. So, well done. And go Kylie. Go Adam.
I don't have one bad word to say about it.
The only annoying part was the Warnie bit, I think.
I like that Warnie was in there.
But it's like such a great UK Aussie thing, Warnie. He's a connection between our countries. He got so many English batsmen out that, you know, you need to remind them of that.
And so was Adam as well. So, you know.
All right, friend.
Adam, good.
Like, do you like Adam's beard? What's going on there?
I don't think Adam needs a beard. I think he's actually quite handsome. I've always thought he was quite handsome. Yeah.
He's got like full. What's the Australian Ned Kelly? How that was very understanding.
Yeah, I don't think he needs it. But I think, you know what? I think with Adam, I think he's just seems like such a nice guy. That's why he seems so attractive. I mean, he is attractive, but he seems like more attractive because he's just such a nice person.
He's got the good guy vibe.
Massively.
All right, dude.
On your Adam. On your Adam. On your Bev. On your Kylie.
Australia. Until next time, episode 2.
Yeah.
Season 2.
Can't wait.
Catch ya.
See ya. Bye.